Greetings, chaps. Hi, everybody in the chat. Today I will actually be able to join you because I'm going to be splitting screens at this end. But first, let me get organised. Right here. The same old tricks. Right, what we have here is Jordan Peterson being portrayed, for anybody who doesn't know, as Red Skull, which is a bad guy from the Captain America comic. So, Jordan Peterson is the writer of the comic has taken this Nazi Red Skull and had him saying things that are the kind of things that Jordan Peterson says. Very obviously, like Jordan Peterson says, tidy your room. The guy says, tidy your room. Jordan Peterson says, has a book called 12 Rules for Life. This Red Skull has 10 rules for life. So, in short, you have Jordan Peterson being portrayed as if he was this Nazi Red Skull. It's just propaganda, okay? Now, I want you to see that this trick has been done before with Nikola Tesla. So, you have Nikola Tesla, or Tesla versus Superman in 1942. This is a year before Tesla died. Okay, so bear this in mind. This was produced while Tesla was still alive. Okay, the guys who conduct these kind of campaigns, they're not kind souls. So you have first Superman versus the mad scientist, but the character in that didn't look very much like Nikola Tesla, so they tried again, this time literally calling it Tesla versus Superman. Okay, you can buy the DVD and all these. So here you have the mad scientist, which is about a guy who uses these electronic rays to do all these bad things, right? But that guy doesn't look very much like Tesla, so they then, the following year, made another one, and this time it does look like Tesla. Okay, so that's Tesla versus Superman. Go and see it yourselves. It's a whole film, so see what you think, and see how propaganda is used to smear things. So in this case, it would be to smear Tesla while he was still alive. Now, while Jordan Peterson is alive, he's being smeared as this Nazi cartoon character. See? Same system, cartoons or comics to smear living people. Now, the technique of using propaganda to smear, or which is basically to mislead, is being used by flat earthers, has been from day one with the AE map. Oh wait, let me switch windows. It has been done by flat earthers with the AE map and with the circling sun. This is not what we have in the real world. I wrote the Book of the Sun to explain a closer approximation of what the sun is and how it behaves. Now, the people who haven't read that book don't know. Some people who've heard things that are written in that book think that they can put something together, and they're working with ideas of like a double sun, which is what Globebusters are doing. Now, I'm going to show that Globebusters and Chris Van Mitra have been misrepresenting reality. The same misrepresentation that's done with the message from Jordan Peterson or with the inventions of Nikola Tesla are being done now with flat earthers misrepresenting phenomena in the real world. I'm going to show you. Just bear with me. If you know anybody who watches Globebusters and who thinks that Globebusters are legit, ask them to take a look at this. And as much as they might mislike me, they can't refute what I'm going to show because I'm going to show it. So, just bear with me. Here is Wolfie 6020 showing A double sun. Pay attention.
So this observation seems to have stirred up a lot of interest with the flat earthers, but some of them did not understand my first two demonstrations, and they wanted to see it with only the sun and only the reflection in the frame. So that's fine, I can do that too. This is the sun, and if I move the tilt tuner, nothing happens. Now what I'm going to do is move the telescope to put the reflection in the frame.
The second sun.
So there's the reflection. Now when I move the tilt tuner, we're going to see the reflection moving. I think that's pretty obvious. And the point of doing it with both in frame was so that you could see that the actual sun was not moving and only the reflection was moving. But we'll do it this way for them. I'll put it back to the main sun. And we'll try that tuner again. The main sun is not moving. So hopefully, third time lucky, they will understand what's going on this time.
Now listen to Globebusters.
So now what we needed Wolfie to do was pan up and show that he could still see the image that he moved out of the way, which he never does.
We just saw him literally do that. But listen to what Cami Nodell says, which is Bob's wife.
It's one of the things that I first noticed.
Right.
When I adjust my tilt tuner, it does not affect the second object or the sun that we don't see in mine. But obviously in his, he can move his image all around in there.
And that is the key. That's a huge key to it. Notice that when Chris was doing it and I was watching Chris do it, Chris was not moving the tuner or the things, or he was physically moving the location that the scope was pointing. So it wasn't moving an image. I mean, he no longer had the sun we see in the field of view there.
So Wolfie has literally shown. Let me go back to this. Just go to his page. He's a Globling, but that doesn't mean that he's entirely dishonest all of the time. He's shown that you can zoom in on this whilst the real sun, this is a reflection within the telescope. And in order to move from the real sun to the reflection, you move the actual telescope. Now listen to what Cami says.
Kind of, if you really think about what he's using as a get out, Wolfie, on this, it's quite deceptive with the mirror focuses and what he's saying. And again, he does not bring Polaroid filters into it at all, which is really intriguing that he again skipped over our entire part of the argument that was so significant. He doesn't touch. He just pretends like it didn't exist. That's very deceptive.
That's true. And, you know, the idea that Chris, after doing this for several years, you know, would make a rookie mistake like that is incomprehensible.
It's not a mistake, folks. It's done on purpose to mislead. Chris Van Mitra is not a good guy. He was abusing me regarding having raped some transgender some time ago, even though it's all a bunch of nonsense. But, and this is not because he said that, I'm just pointing out that the guy is deceitful. The guy is deceitful. Wolfie has shown that this is a reflection inside the telescope, that you can move your telescope so that your camera is picking only the reflection, which is what Cami and Chris Van Mitra say. That in order to look at the reflection, they weren't moving the axis on the actual turret itself. They were moving the telescope. That's what Wolfie has shown too. And now, to be fair to them, they made their video saying, Wolfie hasn't shown this, before Wolfie showed what I've just shown now. Wolfie had shown the reflection moving in and out of the frame. So after they said, well, Wolfie doesn't show this, Wolfie went and showed this. It's like, look, if you're going to try to misrepresent the world, then using equipment to misrepresent the world that other people have, that they can check, that they can say, look at them, look at these half-wit flat earthers misrepresenting the world. All you're doing is you're pushing people who are looking at the whole question into the globe idea. Because they're going to go, what are these flat earthers on about? That's obviously a reflection. The guy has just replicated the observation. Are they stupid? And this is part of the reason why the flat earth is infiltrated with people to misrepresent. People who pretend like there's nothing wrong with the Gleasons are misrepresenting reality. The continents are not so much larger in the south than in the north as is represented in the Gleasons. The sun does not make circles between the tropics as is claimed by the Gleasons type as it is map. It's a nonsense. Now, totally separate from that, I'm going to just bring attention to this video by Sergei Maltsev. I placed a link in the chat. I'm going to go back into the chat right now and place another link. Just bear with me. There's the link again. Okay. Please take a look at that video, because that video shows real observations about the real world which do not fit the globe. So just so that we're square. Oops, sorry, wrong. Am I on the wrong page? Yes, I am. Just give me a second. Hi everybody, by the way. Okay, so in the same way that the Gleasons misrepresents the sun, it says the sun makes a circle between the tropics, okay, around Tropic of Capricorn, Tropic of Cancer, and back and forth. It doesn't do this at all. The sun is not an object that does circles like this. Okay. That's misrepresenting the world. And anybody can check and say, let's see where the sun rises and sets in the southern regions in the southern summer. And you go, well, it's not rising from the Tropic of Capricorn. It's rising from way south of there, way southeast of the direction to the Tropic of Capricorn. The flat earth must be bullshit then. And that's the reason for it. So people go, the flat earth is just bullshit. Instead of stopping and going, wait a second, how is the sun rising southeast? How is it doing this? And then stopping and thinking, what can be going on with the sky that presents this? So the sun making circles breaks the truth of the shape of the earth. The Gleasons is based on that breaking the truth, on that bullshit. Right. The real world, however, breaks the globe. In the same way that the southeast rising sun from any of the regions in the south. The southeast rising sun, with the idea of the sun circling around the tropics, breaks the idea of the sun travelling around the tropic. The same way that this breaks the Gleason's model. Okay? There are observations that break the globe model. The globe model can deal with the sun rising southeast, but there are observations with which it cannot deal. One of which is the equinox, just simply the equinox. It can't actually deal with the equinox. But what Sergei Maltsev has found And we spoke about this a long time ago, and he was starting to compile data then. Just breaks is it makes it so that if you took this data to any astrophysicist, geophysicist, or cosmologist, you took them the data and said, "Can you explain this?" They would have to say, "No, we can't. We don't know how this is happening, how this has happened. We don't know what's going on, that this is the data." And it's in the video that I just shared in the chat by Sergei Malsev. Now I'm going to come into the chat, spend some time with you and wrap up. The reason I've made this is you can't, if you think all of the time that globelings are enemies because they think the earth is a globe, you're stupid. The human beings who believe the earth is a globe, from their point of view, we are human beings who believe that the earth is flat. And when they look at the Gleasons, they have good reason for thinking that flat earthers, the majority of them, believe that the earth is flat. And in order to continue with that belief, they have to simply not look at the fact that the sun rises southeast in the south, in the southern summer. Just don't look at that, and you can carry on with your belief. People like me, my point of view is, look at the real world, look at what it really presents, and then see which is most likely. And of the two, flat is most likely. With the sun rising southeast, with the sun making complete circles in Antarctica. Because light isn't what you've been taught it to be. The sun isn't what you've been taught it to be, or what flat earthers say it is, which is something that circles above the tropics, and something that dictates the year, which is what Sergei Malsev has found for the globe. It's like, oopsies, globe, you have a problem with the sun and how it presents itself in our skies. You don't have to be a genius to look. If you just take observations, you take a map like mine, or take the Gleasons and correct the sizes of the continents. Look at what the actual sizes are and correct them yourselves. Take a Gleasons and compare continent sizes and adjust them, however you choose, but adjust them. And then plot the observations. Look at where the sun rises from Ushuaia in December. Where does it rise and set? What arc does it make? Do the same in the north. Just look at what it does and you see the sun is not an object that's making circles around the tropics. The sun is not a distant fiery ball and we're rotating on a sphere either. And if you can't see that just from plotting it on a map and looking at the azimuth, then look at Sergei's work and say, right, the globe accords with many of the observations. But the observations that do not agree with the globe idea tells you the globe idea, that way of processing the information, is wrong. The truth is something different to what the globe says it is. And then just come to your own conclusions. Do your own thinking. Like really, do your own thinking. Now I'm looking in the chat. Hammond Walker, how you doing? I'm just Cosmic Surfer. Hey. Oh, I tell you what, I missed the days when we would chat on Skype. I'm just quickly scrolling, see if anybody's trying to. RT, cool. It's cool when that happens. I'm just very quickly scrolling just to see if anybody's calling my attention. Right, that's it. I've seen it. I bet that was fun for you watching me read. Wait, somebody's saying, Level Earth realist. What do you think about the Sun actually being a producer of Nikola Tesla scalar waves and Wilhelm Reich orgone? Ooh, could well be a producer of Tesla scalar waves and Wilhelm Reich orgone. The book I've just written, and I say this knowing that there's somebody in the chat who's going to proofread, who's waiting for me to send it, I just keep tightening it. Is one of the subjects is the Wilhelm Reich's orgone and the mechanism, the system that must have been taking place for the phenomena to be real, and the phenomena is real. So it really can generate clouds, it really can dispel clouds, and it really can accumulate in an orgone accumulator. So what process can be going on there? This is largely what the book is about. So I hope you enjoy it. Scaris writes, what do you think of Vibes of Cosmos, a map of flat Earth created on plasma moon image? Very interesting, Scaris, very interesting. Like that, whoever that is I think is an excellent lateral thinker, and I find it very interesting. I myself, I think that the craters on the moon the result of old ponds. So very similar to what he's saying. But, you know, it's moot. But yeah, I enjoy what he's doing. Yeah, they were Cosmic Surfer. No, sorry, Paul Russon asks if my second book is out yet. No, it isn't. I'm just... yeah, I'm just tidying it up, tightening it, trying to remove as many grammatical errors and typos as possible before I send it off for somebody else to go and scour over it and do the same before I release it. So yeah, I'm hoping to have it finished today. Then I will, Jean. Then I'll be sending it in the next couple of days. Right, that's it, folks. I'm going to bail for now. I'm going to ask you, please, if you know any flat earthers who think that what Globebusters are doing is legitimately honest flat earth study, bear this in mind. When there's a word that's similar to the word shill. It means something similar to shill. Quisling. Okay, look it up. I'm going to write it in the chat. Quisling. Look up. So, quislings. The way quislings go by undetected is by surrounding themselves with legitimate people. Whenever any group is infiltrated, so you have a grassroots movement, and it becomes infiltrated. The people who infiltrate it seem to the rest of the people in the actual grassroots movement to be grassroots activists, just normal people just like them. That's how they infiltrate. Globebusters use real flat earthers who are really looking at the world in order to have a beard, in order to disguise themselves. In the life of Brian buys a beard to disguise himself from the Romans. Okay, in the old days, before the homosexual community was as accepted in society, gay men would get married and the woman would be their beard, you know, to pretend like the guy was straight. And the girl, the lesbian, would do the same with the guy. The guy would be her beard, okay? Globebusters use genuine flat earthers as a beard. But don't think that everybody with Globebusters is a genuine flat earther being used as a beard. So people like Van Mitra is not a genuine flat earther looking for the truth. If he's fabricating evidence, like we've seen that he did, then he's not a genuine flat earther. If he was a genuine flat earther and had accidentally fabricated evidence, then he would own up. He would say, guys, my bad, I can't believe I did that. I would have hoped somebody like Globebusters would have double checked and kind of, you know, told me that was wrong. But they don't. Globebusters run with it, like they did with the gyroscope. Yeah, anyway. The Adam Meeking, how you doing? Don't be too legit or you get kicked out. That's right. So, two things happen, okay? If you're legit, you call them out on the bullshit and then you get kicked out. It might be that you call them out on the bullshit accidentally by saying, well, actually, no, I don't think that's right. And then that's it. If you didn't agree, you're out. Or you might see that there's bullshit there, like I think happened with Taboo Conspiracy, and say, you know what, thanks but no thanks. I tried to warn him for a long time, but thankfully I think he might be out of that now. But yeah, that's what happens. And you have people in the chat right now who know this firsthand, who get swept up in a small group, and you think you're with kindred spirits looking for ways of demonstrating or resolving problems with the idea of the flat earth, and you're all looking and you're all sincere, and then you see something not quite sincere and you say to yourself, well, that's a bit dodgy. What's that about? And then if you call it out or if you show that you're not in agreement, you're out. I know this. That Adam Meekin knows this. Sorry, the Adam Meekin knows this. And other people in the chat know this too. Some of you listening might know this yourselves from your own personal experience. It happens. For this, I have to tip my hat to Del, Beyond the Imaginary Curve. I tip my hat to him. Because there was a time when he was involved in a little bit of a bullshit going on, trying to disrupt things, and he eventually saw through it and thought, you know what, sod you, I'm doing this alone, I'm doing this on my own, and you can go and do your own stuff. And then you know when the other people around were full of shit because they don't do anything on their own. They don't go on and continue, like, no, they kind of disappear, change the name and infiltrate elsewhere. That's what the Quistlings do. Anyway, yes, Level Earth realist. They are. I'm not going to read your comments, but they are. So just keep your eyes open, folks. Just keep your eyes open for that kind of behaviour. In the past, I had a problem with the very religious people, because it's like, wait a second, like, you're torn here between your faith and the real world, and if the real world contradicts your faith, you're going to have a problem. So you have to keep both parallel, or you can't intermingle them. You can't blend them, because the minute one contradicts the other, you're going to drop the one that's contradicted, the least important to you. You have to keep, if you're going to be religious, you have to keep your faith like superimposed over reality, and study reality with clear eyes, not through the eyes of freaking faith, because then that's going to like cause a bias left, right and centre. You're going to see evil everywhere. Stop seeing evil everywhere. Start seeing more clearly. And now, then I'm somewhat, not more faithful, just have a clearer understanding. I understand, like, okay, I understand why the religious people are so like, oh, but you don't keep your religion in your heart. Yeah, share it with people who you think might want to hear it, but don't ram it down people's throats. Because if you don't like a different religion ramming itself down your throats, don't do the same. Don't you see that you're being the evil that you're projecting into the world by doing that? Anyway, there you go. Right, now I really am going. I will see you all later. Oh, wait, before I go, I'm going to save you a little bit of time. I'm going to share Wolfie's video so you can watch it yourselves. And then you can go to his channel and watch his other videos that he made on the subject. There it is in the chat. That's Wolfie's video. Watch his other video. Compare with what Van Mitra showed and what Globebusters showed. And see that Globebusters and Van Mitra are talking shit. Like, and also it's, you don't have to be, I say this a lot, but you don't have to be a bloody genius to go, right, wait a second. They're claiming, you put a filter on your telescope, okay, you look at the sun, and there's the sun. And you look down a bit, and there's a second sun. It's not there in the sky, but it's there in the telescope. It's not there in the sky. Let's look through the filter. Yeah, no, it's not there in the sky. And then they run with it and try to persuade flat earthers that there's a secret second sun in the sky somewhere. Like flat earthers are retarded. Like they're not going to get a freaking transparency. And go, huh, no, you're not freaking second sun. And then watch Wolfie's video go, oh right, no, it was a reflection. But those morons didn't realise it was a reflection. What kind of idiots are those guys? And that's what I'm trying to point out. It's difficult to say whether they're stupid or just bad and deceitful. It's difficult, but either way, it's just, hey, Gary Waybanger, how you doing? Yeah, so there you go. Gary Waybanger, nice. Says, I think it's the first time I gave a thumbs up on a Wolfie video. By the way, I don't know why, but that comment, even though there's no swearing, was waiting for me to approve it, Gary. So I don't know why that was. There's strange things happening with YouTube, by the way. So there's the deleting of subs that's been happening continuously. I gain maybe 30 subs a week and lose 30 subs a week, give or take, just continuously, all the time. There are comments in Sergey's video. I left a comment. I went back into it today to look at the video to pull it for this presentation. The comment's gone. I doubt he's deleted it. He's a good friend. So, yeah, just dodgy things happening with YouTube. But this has happened before. In fact, it's caused problems between Wolfie and me, where I was making comments and he's pretending like he's never read them, and he's making comments and then saying I'm pretending I've never read them, and his comments were not there, and my comments were not there, and just dirty tricks that YouTube plays. But hey. Yeah, okay, folks, that's it. I'm going. Otherwise, this is going to go on forever, and I need to get back to the book because I'm just about to finish it. So, thanks a lot, everybody. I will see you again soon. Bye.